Privilege was William Tyndale's middle name. Born into a wealthy family, educated at first at Oxford and then Cambridge, so gifted by God, he had learnt to read and write 8 languages. But sadly, the world that this privileged man lived was again in vice-like grip of the Pope, priest, and the Catholic Church. Just as in the days of Wycliffe, the land was in darkness, as God's word could only be read in Latin or Greek, and to read it in those languages was against the law. But this privileged man could read Greek. He read the New Testament, and as he did, he quickly saw that what the Pope, priests, and Catholic Church taught were very different to what the Bible said. His eyes were opened to see his sin. They were opened to see God's salvation, and they were opened to see that everyone around him was living in darkness. Only the privileged few could read Greek. Did that mean only the privileged few could know God's salvation? Add to that, the privileged few had no desire to share God's truth with anyone. As Tyndale began to shine the light of God's word into the darkness of the Roman Catholic Church, people began to oppose him. In one debate, so angry was a priest with Tyndale that he screamed, "I believe it would be better to be without God's law than to be without the Pope's law." How did the privileged Tyndale respond? Would he hide behind his privilege and remain quiet? Or would he speak up for what he knew to be God's truth? "I defy the Pope and all his laws. If God spares my life, I will make it so in England that the ploughboys will know more of the Bible than many of the priests now." The fire of the Reformation had been set ablaze in the life of William Tyndale. The privileges that God had showered upon him were going to be used for God's glory alone. There was only one man in England who could give Tyndale permission to fulfill his dream of the ploughboy reading God's word, and that was the powerful and influential Cuthbert Tunstall, the Bishop of London. So, with passion in his heart, Tyndale asked Tunstall for permission to give Britain its Bible back. What would Tunstall do? A man who was supposed to represent God, who was supposed to bring people to God, a man who was supposed to help priests teach the people about God. What would he do? Well, the answer didn't take long in coming, and it was very clear. Tyndale was under no circumstance to translate the Bible into English for everyone to read. For Bishop Tunstall and the Roman Catholic Church, the ignorance of the people gave them power, and lots of it. Bishop Tunstall and the Roman Catholic Church were happy for the people to be in darkness. For all the time darkness reigned, they could tell the people whatever they wanted. Therefore, the one who would bring God's light to the people was an enemy to be fought, an enemy to be stopped, an enemy to be hounded, and an enemy to be terrorized. So would Tyndale's dream ever be realized? Would the ploughboy ever be able to read his own Bible?